Serena Johnson never expected her life to become entangled in a web of betrayal, ambition, and secrets. She was a bright marketing strategist in Chicago, known for her creativity and calm confidence. For years, she had worked tirelessly at Horizon Dynamics, a powerful tech corporation led by Raymond Holt, a man admired in public but feared in private. Raymond wasn't the type to forgive mistakes. He ruled his company like a general commanding soldiers, and Serena, while talented, always felt the weight of his expectations. Yet, she stayed because she believed her work mattered, and because her career was on the brink of something extraordinary. One rainy evening, as the city lights flickered against the wet pavement, Serena stumbled upon a conversation that changed everything. She had returned to the office to pick up a forgotten notebook when she heard voices drifting from Holt's private conference room. At first, she thought she was intruding on a late-night strategy meeting, but the tone was too sharp, too personal. She paused by the half-open door. Inside, Holt spoke in his familiar, commanding tone. "We can't afford any leaks. If the press gets wind of this acquisition before the board approves, we'll lose billions." A second voice, Nora Whitfield, Holt's long-trusted deputy, responded. "Relax, Raymond. Everything is under control. No one suspects me." Serena's stomach dropped. She realized Nora wasn't discussing how to protect the company, but how to manipulate it. As the conversation unfolded, Serena pieced together the horrifying truth. Nora had been leaking confidential information to a rival corporation, carefully feeding them just enough to weaken Horizon's position while strengthening her own. But the twist cut even deeper. Holt wasn't angry. He was complicit. Serena's heart pounded as Holt said quietly, "Once the board collapses under the pressure, we'll have our exit strategy ready. You and I will walk away with more than anyone can imagine." Serena nearly dropped her notebook. The two most powerful people in the company were preparing to sabotage their own empire for personal gain. That night, she couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard their voices again. She thought about her colleagues who had poured their lives into the company, believing in its mission. She thought about her own sacrifices, late nights, missed family gatherings, endless stress. Could she really stay silent? By morning, Serena had made her decision. She wasn't going to let them destroy everything. But she couldn't confront Holt or Nora directly. They were far too powerful. She needed an ally. That ally appeared in the form of Daniel Reed, an investigative journalist Serena had met months earlier at a tech conference. Daniel had a reputation for exposing corruption, often at great personal risk. Serena had always admired his relentless pursuit of the truth. She arranged a meeting at a quiet coffee shop on the city's north side. When Daniel walked in, his notebook tucked under his arm, Serena felt a wave of relief. "You sounded urgent," Daniel said as he slid into the booth. Serena hesitated, scanning the cafe before leaning closer. "I have information, dangerous information, but I don't know who else to trust." 4 hours, she laid out everything she had overheard, every suspicion, every detail that pointed toward Holt and Nora's betrayal. Daniel listened carefully, scribbling notes, his brow furrowed. When she finished, he leaned back. "This is explosive," he said finally. "If it's true, it could bring down Holt and maybe you with him." "I know the risks," Serena replied, "but people deserve the truth." Together, they devised a plan. Serena would quietly gather documents, emails, contracts, financial reports that proved Holt and Nora's scheme. Daniel would verify the evidence and prepare to publish a story that could shake the foundations of corporate America. For weeks, Serena lived a double life. By day, she continued her role as a loyal employee, smiling at Nora in meetings, taking instructions from Holt, pretending nothing had changed. By night, she sifted through files, copying encrypted drives, forwarding key documents to Daniel through secure channels. The stress was suffocating. Every time her phone buzzed, she feared it was Holt calling her into his office, somehow aware of her betrayal. Every time Nora glanced her way, Serena wondered if a secret had been discovered. Then one evening, while leaving the office, Serena noticed someone following her. At first, she brushed it off as coincidence. But when the same black sedan appeared near her apartment the next day, she knew Holt's people were watching. She panicked, calling Daniel. "They know something. I think I'm being followed." "Stay calm," Daniel urged. "We're almost there. Just a little more proof, and the story will be airtight." But time was running out. Holt scheduled a major board meeting for the following week, where he planned to push through a controversial merger that would mask the final stage of their scheme. Serena and Daniel had to act before then. On the eve of the meeting, Serena snuck into Holt's office under the pretense of finishing a presentation. With trembling hands, she unlocked his desk and found a folder stamped confidential. Inside were signed agreements, offshore account details, and correspondence between Holt and Nora that left no doubt of their betrayal. As she slipped the documents into her bag, a voice froze her in place. Well, Nora said from the doorway. "I was wondering how long it would take you to show your true colors." Serena's pulse skyrocketed. "Nora, save it." Nora interrupted, stepping closer. "Did you really think you could outplay us?" Holt has eyes everywhere. Before Serena could respond, Holt himself appeared, his face calm but deadly serious. "I expected better from you, Serena. I gave you opportunities, and this is how you repay me." Serena clutched the folder tightly. "You're destroying everything. People trust you, Raymond, and you're throwing it all away for greed." Holt's expression hardened. "Trust is a game, Serena, and you've just lost." In that moment, Serena thought it was over. But then Daniel burst into the office, phone in hand. "Actually," he said, "I think you're the ones who've lost." Holt's eyes narrowed. "What is this?" Daniel held up his phone. "A live feed. This entire conversation is being streamed to the Horizon Board of Directors and a few federal investigators who are very interested in your offshore accounts." Nora's face drained of color. Holt lunged forward, but Serena stepped back, holding the folder as proof. Within minutes, security arrived, summoned by the board members who had just witnessed the entire exchange in real time. The aftermath was swift. Holt and Nora were removed from the building in disgrace, facing charges of fraud, conspiracy, and embezzlement. The story exploded across the media, with Daniel's article exposing every detail of their corruption. Horizon Dynamics nearly collapsed, but thanks to swift reforms, it survived and began to rebuild under new leadership. As for Serena, she was hailed as a whistleblower, though she never sought fame. The weeks that followed were difficult interviews, investigations, endless questions. But through it all, she felt lighter than she had in years. She had chosen integrity over fear, and it had made all the difference. One evening, months later, Serena sat across from Daniel at the same cafe where it had all begun. "You know," he said with a smile, "most people would have walked away. You didn't have to risk everything." Serena sipped her coffee, gazing out at the bustling Chicago streets. "Maybe not, but sometimes doing the right thing isn't about what you have to do. It's about what you can't let happen." Daniel nodded, respect in his eyes. "So what's next for Serena Johnson?" She smiled faintly. "For the first time in a long time, I don't know. And that's the best part." Outside, the city glowed with possibility. Serena no longer felt trapped in Holt's shadow. She had written her own story, one of courage, sacrifice, and truth. And though the scars of betrayal would linger, she knew she had reclaimed her life. The rain had stopped, the air was clear, and Serena Johnson was finally free.